Howdy there YouTube, welcome to another episode of Airgotten Weapons. Today we're going to be looking at the G3 series of airsoft guns. This is going to be my favorite episode because these are the guns that I actually use. These are the guns that I carry. I really wanted to like the G36, but the main problem with the G36 is battery capacity, that's right. With these, not so much. And I've got big old high caps, I got drums and everything for it. And it's just a handy rifle. It fits my hand. I don't have any problems working the selector. It's just like second nature for me. So these are the ones that I prefer. What I don't prefer about them is the version 2 gearbox. I really don't like setting motor heights, but it's just something you have to deal with if you want to have the gun that just fits you right. Now, I know you're saying, Legion, when are you going to get to the AR-15 M16 style rifles? Well, you're going to be waiting a long time because I don't use those and I don't have any. And I halfway refuse to build any. I do have one lower that I might turn into something someday, but it's just not my favorite. So I stick with H&K, and I do like the AKs just for the ease of work on, and they look cool. But these are the ones. This is actually my first airsoft gun I ever bought. It's a Tokyo Marui. I bought it in about '98, and I used it all the way until I got this one. But this one I let somebody else use, actually two people use, and the last guy that used it, when I got it back, it still worked, but the gearbox was broken in half. When I took it apart, I was like, whoa! So these early Maruis, the whole front end of the gearbox just tends to break off of them. So, but it served me really well at low feet per second, of course, because I didn't know anything about upgrading or plastic body and everything, but it was nice and lightweight. The barrel length was a problem. So that was the last full-length rifle that I bought. So moving on down here, this was the first custom one I built, and it was originally a Den Trinity that I got from them, and it worked okay for a while, but then there were some gearbox issues, which I believe I have in another video. Anyway, I put a metal body on it, and stock was broken off once, but has now been glued. And actually inside of here I've got a 40 amp automotive relay because it was burning through MOSFETs. It's got a 45,000 RPM ASG Infinity motor. I really like those. That's pretty much what I buy. That's my preference. I've used a couple other ones, but those Infinities, you know, they run good, they run clean. It's got a one of these foam suppressors, the quick detach. It's got the HK markings on it. This one was a Stargate one, as we used to call it, originally a full length. This was my cousin's gun, and I went ahead and put an MC51 front end on it. These barrel extensions that come with the guns are really bad for losing the flash hider, and all you really need to do is trim a little bit off the end and get a 14x1 right hand or left hand, depending on what you want to put on it, die, and just hold these and thread the ends. The only thing you might have problems with if you don't have a lathe is you might cockeye the flash hider one way or the other, and that'll make the BB slam into it and you'll have problems. But the little set screw stock ones that come with these guys are no bueno. You got to get rid of those because they will fall off. I ran this gun for a long time with this in my pocket because it kept falling off and I didn't want to lose it. This up here started out as a G3SAS, and I really liked it. I actually played with it for a while because I got tired of lugging around the metal body of this guy. It was so heavy. It was hurting my neck to carry around. So this was the next one that I did, and it originally had the standard G3SAS front end, and I really didn't like the way that looked with the big butt hanging down underneath. So I've got my Dalek flash hider on here for now. It's generally not what I run on there, but I didn't want to have the raw thread showing. And I cut down this fore end. I cut about, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches off of it, cut down this section, and it's a handy little gun. It shoots really accurately. I forget, I have some 6.01 barrel in there, but I can't exactly remember exactly what brand it is. I wish I could, because it really shoots well. I put this external battery pack on it because of course now I've got no room for a battery up here, which isn't ideal, but I like to have the option of using it as a CQB gun because it is a low feet per second but high rate of fire. Yeah, that's pretty much my favorite of the airsoft guns is the G3 series. Get a little bit of shorty barrel. The MC51 series is a great gun, especially with a full stock. Don't get it with a sliding stock. It just restricts your battery. But you got the high capacity magazines, full size rifle, so you know it feels good in your hands. It feels gives you that warm and fuzzy feeling that you don't really get from some of the other ones, like an MP5 per se. So I'll cut for a second and see what else I can dig out for these guys. So here we have some of the accessories, and I wanted to show you that if you're going to buy one of these G3 series, they have 2 pins on the stock. One of these 1-pin MP5 stocks won't work. I mean, I guess it would, but you don't want to be looking like that, half of your receiver hanging out. So don't do that. So that's one difference. So the MP5 stocks and the G3 stocks are different. 2 pins, 1 pin. And interestingly enough, the Classic Army, the 33, which is based off of the 43, the HK43, has 1 pin. The 223 version has 1 pin instead of 2, like an MP5. Anyway, this one was missing the outer barrel, so I just made one up, and it actually had the benefit of really firming up. Sometimes they get a tendency to wobble through here, and all you have to really do to prevent that is make sure that these 2 screws and bolts are tight, and make sure that your inner barrel fits properly. That's why I put these steps here to hold, give you a little bit more surface area to prevent the wiggle back and forth. See, no wiggle. So yeah, the 4 ends, this is a stock one just to show you. This is the regular, and this is the one that I did. Here's one of the 4 ends with the bipods. These are kind of neat for the SG1. It's the one that came with this gun originally. Of course now it doesn't fit, but that's something else that you can consider. Often you can find these just by themselves on eBay or wherever. And there's a variety of different drums. This one, don't buy, not good. Inside there's a square track that leads up, that pushes the BB up, and that square track allows 2 BBs to get jammed side by side. I don't know why, it's just one of those things. It's just not a good design. This is an old one that I bought. I don't remember where I got it. Online somewhere. But it works really good. It's got the then this is one of the manual winding drums, and it works really good too. I turned this one into a tracer deal. It's got a little switch on the side. See the light coming out of there. So it's tracer. Not that that's all that handy in combat, but kind of fun to mess around with. And these 3-point attachments in the front here, these QD 3-points, these can be a bugger along all the different lines, like all the aftermarket 3-lug adapters. You got to be real careful because these are different sizes between the different makes. Some of them are threaded, some of them are just pressed in, have a little grub screw to hold them in. You got to be careful with that. You got to make sure you know what you've got and what you're looking for, because you can spend money where you didn't need to for extra parts that you didn't need. So just be aware of that. So yeah, just great guns all the way around, other than having to set the motor height. That's kind of a pain in the butt, especially on like a GMP motors. They're not conducive for some reason. So hope you enjoyed the episode, and stay tuned for future installments. Thanks for watching. For today's extra content, I want to give a gift to you guys, and the gift is this book is free on iBooks or whatever it is. And that's where I read it. This is my, after reading the book I had to buy it because it's got these amazing plates in it. And this is the book Andersonville by John McElroy. It's published in 1879, and it's his account, first-hand account of his captivity in Andersonville. Like I said, it's free to download on iBooks, probably on Google something too. But it's an amazing book. It's an absolutely amazing book. It's a true tale of survival, and just how incredibly evil that some people can be, and yet on the other hand other people can be such uplifting examples to their fellow human beings. And I really encourage everyone to read it, because this isn't some foreign country and some foreign country. This is Americans and Americans, and this didn't happen that long ago. You know, they got them etchings of them tunneling, and that's what's missing from the iBook. So I just figured I'd show you some of these amazing etchings, because when you're seeing them in the flesh, it's a much more full experience. And this was an expensive book when it was published. For, I think it was, I don't know, 30 or 40 bucks in 1880, which was not a small sum. So I would encourage everybody to read it. Even if you're not an American, you can really learn something about, you know, how your attitude can shape your life and your fate just by your attitude alone. I mean, it's an incredible journey for this one man, but I mean, you can imagine it was thousands of people that went through it, and you know, history keeps repeating itself. It doesn't seem like we ever learn from our mistakes. So, kind of a more somber extra content, but I hope you take a chance, and even if you just read part of it, I think you'll understand a little bit more about the human condition. So thanks for watching.